I got to spar with Terrible Dan the third week. I went in there, man. I went in there. I probably lasted about 45 seconds.
And is this like full face shots and?
Oh yeah, face shots.
The Earth Locker, chatting our way to being better Earthlings.
Yeah, but now you sound like a Tesco commercial.
Oh.
Marty! My God, in the future, people are huge. Chris, pan around.
My
Flash
God.
pan.
Look at her head!
She's enormous. Oh, giant woman, please be merciful. Do not murder us.
It's like Godzilla with glasses.
I know, she's very intimidating.
I'm actually
She's got fantastic lips.
This is a brand new acquisition of Rob's, some artwork he just acquired, and I actually love it.
I'm a big fan. I love how. What do you call it? Is it abstract? How,
she kind of floats off the wall. She's kind of hung floating.
Is it Amelia Earhart as
my pal in my gym? Like, I want to put some cool art in my gym.
My mate, and he studied anatomy, so he painted the layers of skin and the sort of like what sort of color texture beneath that would so that your veins would be informing you. So she kind of changes color as we get to dusk.
No,
she kind of gets more flush in the face.
Mm. Yeah,
that time
might
of the
need
evening.
a little wacky tobacco at the end of this here podcast.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Very nice.
Byron, such things are illegal. Okay,
Are they?
That's not okay. Okay.
No, I mean like
crack cocaine.
damn it, we're not in America.
Maybe we should discuss
Whereas
what's
meth,
real,
you
what's
can
not.
make it from stuff under a sink. So
No problem. No problem.
That's good, honest working class drug
here,
meth.
Byron, tell us about what you were telling us about this nice chocolate.
Yeah, Tony's. I got, this is not as dark as I would have liked, but Tony's chocolate, which you're seeing all around town, and I got turned on to by a little documentary about chocolate. I think kind of started the whole anti-slavery and cocoa production to make it really actually fair and equitable, and he's really championing this. So we're going to try to get the owner of this company on to talk about something we love
and interrogate
that's a
him.
superfood, and what the fuck is wrong with it, and how we're going to fix it.
Yeah, like what's he doing extra? That's like how is he an extra? Is he campaigning for just general rights of workers?
Not just campaigning, he's actually bypassing.
He's cutting out the middleman.
He's cutting out the middleman, which is where all the problem lies.
So he's going straight to the phone. It's the same thing with a lot of coffee things. Like Workshop Coffee, the guys that I sort of get my coffee off, they work with the farmers. Right. Wherever they can, they work directly with the farmers, and it makes a huge difference because I mean the middleman factor means they can kind of do whatever they want with the farmers.
Distort.
100% slave-free chocolate.
Let's just show that here.
Now we don't need him on the podcast.
Done. Never mind.
We just saved you an hour and a half.
If you're
100% slave-free chocolate. Look at that. There you go. Podcast done.
Go on.
Could you imagine podcasting was that easy?
Yeah, just hold up signs like that.
I mean, it's very
just saved you a
difficult
half hour.
technical stuff here we're doing here.
Ultimate influence.
Years of preparation to sit in this chair, brother.
Boring,
Don't let
boring,
anyone
boring.
tell you that it's easy. It's not.
Boring.
Hey, who do we have visiting with us on this here episode? Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, today
He's an amateur musical theater performer. It's David Castañeda. Where is he? Is he on?
We
He's got 5
have
minutes.
our marvellous Umbrella Academy castmate, David Castaneda, a.k.a. Diego Hargreeves, our brother in arms. He's going to join us on the show and chat all things Umbrella and all things acting and
All things.
Okay,
David's
so is
under
there,
couch.
David Castaneda.
all
Is there
things
something that you want to
David's
try to do since he's not
husky
with us yet
crevices.
that we want to try to get out of him? Is there some
What do
angle?
we want to try and
Is there a
angle out of him?
secret, something skeleton in his closet that we need to unravel?
Oh.
Let me think. Oh, you know what? The painting, right? The painting. It's like, what terrible bump in the road are you trying to unknot with all this
With the
delicious painting?
You like an artist or just
like
painting
That'd
houses?
be quite leading, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
His paintings are beautiful.
Are they?
Amazing. In fact, my dear middleman friend Greg, who only messing, he's a guy who runs a gallery called Basement Space.
Yeah,
Pretty sexy.
definitely go support it.
I was
Great
like,
space.
Dave, sexy, colourful Mexican paintings. Greg, gallery in East London, trending.
Done.
Hell yeah.
Let's do this. That'd be your second friend that's
Yeah.
going to Basement Space Gallery.
Charity, 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 charity.
Sir.
I just never
Never stop.
stop toiling.
Toiling? Is that the right word?
Do you know what it is? Because Roger, my mate from the Toilers, was around here last night drinking cheap Eastern European beer.
Oh, which one?
Do you know the Steropramen and
Oh, I've
Tishki?
heard of that.
Good, actually. It's
I like the
Is it?
Tishki. I don't like the
Steropramen.
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 Tishki I like.
I'm the other way around.
Really?
Interesting. See, individual palettes.
I was good. Actually, the Toilers are great.
The Toilers
are a great band.
They're a rock.
If you haven't checked them out,
I don't know the Toilers.
If you're a fan of Plaid,
what?
What?
Plaid,
Plaid.
Are they a plaid band?
Tartan.
Oh.
Because they're Scottish?
These two haberdashers over
Yeah,
there.
I know it.
David Castañeda,
David
our
Castañeda.
lovely castmate on
Yeah.
the
All
Umbrella
right, so I'll
Corporation.
talk about his art and try to find out what his motivation is
Yeah,
and
and just go.
wait,
you know,
too soon to try to compare him to other fascist dictators who failed at painting
Van
one
Gogh.
of other things.
Ooh, do you know what actually? would be good?
Okay, I won't do that. That's bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wait. What were you saying about what?
Some fascist dictators who failed at painting and went other directions.
Yes, that's why we have to make him a commercial success.
Like, come on.
Sorry.
We've known what's happened
Buy
in the
his
past. He's got such potential. David, not Hitler. But yes, and also my friend wrote an Irish script about Che Guevara. About Ernesto Guevara, who stopped in Limerick in Shannon Airport because back in the day, if you wanted to do airline travel from one continent to the other, you had to stop in Shannon. So in Shannon, they had like Mahatma Gandhi, Elvis Presley, Ernesto Guevara, Fidel. They had every sort of face name of the 20th century, JFK, you name it. And so one time, Che Guevara's plane got landed for like 4 or 5 days, and he just went into Limerick and went on the piss.
That is Connor's script, right?
Yeah. So I think for a while anyway, him and David was talking. Because he would play a good Che Guevara.
He'd be excellent. Che Guevara.
Put a sexy beret on him.
Oh yeah, he'd make a good one.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I was speaking earlier about clammy-fisted corporate capitalism. Did you see on the that Mercedes billboard a picture of Che Guevara, that iconic, brave picture, and there's a Mercedes symbol on his beret?
No.
I saw that on the tube.
Someone should have been shot.
Did I dream that? Text us in the comments.
Shocking.
No, I was. I'm pretty sure that they had it, like the Mercedes on his. I was like,
That's messed up.
that is messed up, isn't it? You know, nothing's sacred in this
No, I know.
neoliberal world.
It's not.
Make fun of politicians and political people that are worthy of that kind of crap.
Yeah.
yeah,
hate that.
yeah, exactly. What's expected of.
Expected.
Yeah.
What?
We expect it from
These
you.
guys shared a bit of knowledge about the government here in the UK that I was not aware of. That Boris Johnson has 8 children.
8.
Apparently,
8.
Boris,
according to
I got to
all-
ask.
lots of
How?
the media.
How?
Well,
Wow.
The
I mean,
Wil-
how?
How
The-
and
they
why?
A guy meets a girl.
He put
they
little
have a few
Winston.
drinks. This is how it happens.
This is how. Take me back to the beginning.
well,
But
a
10
man
times.
goes out with a girl and then has an affair with a woman, and
Yeah.
then a little baby pops out.
Or 8 of them.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to judge. Everyone's free to do their own thing. It's just a kind of a shockingly big number in my world. Like I'm a little shocked
you know
by
what,
that number
Byron?
from a
Do
politician.
you know, Byron? I mean, it's different times.
My buddies
of
I
course,
grew
but
up with in
my-
the Inland Empire,
Yeah.
like white trash trailer mother people, that's a normal number where I come from. But not for the leader of a country. Sorry. Just not.
Yeah, but that's a weird double standard to pull now.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Do you know what I mean? It's an odd double
standard.
standard, but I don't know. It is a. I suppose like we're so used to it being sort of in one atomic household, then it becomes less not okay or something.
Oh, you're right. I was a bit judgy.
No, but like I mean, I think
Nothing
it's
wrong
because
with a
they're
non-nuclear
spread
family.
out. There's something quite imperial about it.
Yeah, that they are spread out.
They're
yeah,
like
yeah.
they're like No offense to his children. I don't know you, and I'm not trying to have a diss at you. No, but it does feel a bit colonial. Like Screaming Jay Hawkins. He's trying to knock Screaming Jay off the top spot.
The top.
But he's got a ways to go.
How many kids does he have?
Between 55 and 75.
Wow.
Whoa.
But he's a rock and roller.
Proven.
No, what's Screaming Jay Hawkins do?
He was a rock and roller.
Yeah.
And he also was a prisoner of war in a Japanese fucking war camp, right? And the story goes that when he escaped, he was sneaking out. And his main torturer was asleep in the thing. And he stuck a grenade in his mouth, pulled the pin and ran off. And the guy went, blew the guy up.
Wow.
He's a badass.
Well, he's got 75 kids.
75 children.
He's pretty badass.
Fertile AF.
And his music is fucking awesome.
Are they all from different women, or?
I put a spell on you.
Oh, it's him, yeah.
'Cause you're mine.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Is he gonna play him in his biography?
I don't know if that's
I know that song from Hocus Pocus, the movie.
Oh yeah, I loved
Great
that
movie.
movie. That was a formative one for me when I was a young kid. I loved that. I'd
Great
watch
movie.
it year round, even though it's very Halloween centric.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. Brilliant movie.
Who's in that movie?
Bette Midler.
That's right. Yeah, and
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
And that lovely actress who looks like Miriam Margolyes but younger.
Yeah,
but I can't
she's
remember
very
her
good
name.
in that.
She's
as well.
in Sister Act as
well.
well.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's gonna be a bunch of comments and she's called this. It's so and so. I can't remember the actress name.
And we can't be bothered to consult one of the 17 devices that surround us. Just, it's after our dinner break.
Fine. Just keep it the way it is.
So what about David Castañeda then?
He's 2 minutes late.
He's always late. Tell him I've got to leave at 7.
I've said to him, we have to do an extension of the expressive dance. It doesn't have to be to Tiffany. But
oh yeah.
Well, you notice I purposely didn't start the jingle today because I was waiting for him to come on.
Ah yes, well, good point.
He's
Producer
always late.
Is always on.
Is he on?
Oh, isn't David lovely?
Castaneda!
David Castañeda!
I think you're muted.
Fashionable man.
There it is. Did you hear
Hey,
me?
brother.
Wow. Who is this mustache man I see in the back next to you guys?
This is
We can't see anything.
who?
Who do you speak of?
Who is this? Dungarees. I just learned that.
You're seeing things, sir.
Imagine it.
Who is this, Tom?
Casper, the friendly
The
mustached
dungaree
ghost.
This is our dear beloved friend Byron Knight. He's a gorgeous Japanese Californian pirate from East London.
As you do.
Yeah. Hey, I saw the email and I was like, who is Mr. Knight? Who is this man? I was like, I thought it was a pseudonym for Rob for a little bit.
Yeah, like one of my alter egos. I'd finally split into two and just accepted the
Rob's
lunacy.
15 alias.
Okay, so we're going to start the podcast properly now.
Now it's official.
With
we can start
A
because
little jingle.
we got a professional jingle, Dave.
We got
Yeah, there we go. Let's into it.
Just give it a little.
we got a seal this week. We got a seal.
And then just
Oh my.
laughter. And then we bring it back, we become centered. And we bring it back to peace. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I heard that this is entertainment. Just in case you're wondering, this is what our podcast is.
Both of these gentlemen belong in the same industry.
What's this meant to be? Yeah.
What is this?
How are you, David? Am I right in saying that you are on the British Isles?
I am. That's why I say dungarees, jumpers, tomatoes. That's the other word now.
Well played. You're learning quickly.
My God, you're transforming.
I know. It's quite nice being over here, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
When we're back in Toronto, we'll be able to have full-blown conversations, David. We'll understand each other.
I know. It's funny because I was looking up Leicester and I was looking up places in Leicester, and it's quite outside of London.
It's made of
not
cheese.
Yeah, it's like an hour from London. Yeah.
It's a sort of a cheese province that's made entirely of
red Leicester
Yes.
cheese.
solid.
Leicester and the moon.
Yeah, Leicester.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like it has its own fables, Leicester.
It does.
It definitely does. Yeah, well, we should go up to Leicester.
Yeah, you should come visit,
He's always threatening us when we
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, I've been here for a week.
Yeah,
you know? I've been here for a week, so it's quite a you know, it's not so much of a culture shock. I'll be honest with you. It's actually really nice.
Well, we speak the same. They speak the same language, so it kind of helps.
You know,
fortunately,
depending on what part of East London you're in.
Because because depending on on things we've done for press and stuff, but how much time have you spent in the UK before this?
6 days.
But like previous, overall, ever.
That's it.
Wow.
6 days.
Well, welcome, my dear. You must come up here and be on the podcast in the sexy flesh.
In studio.
Yeah, you guys have the whole thing set up. I mean, I saw the videos when Rob sent it to me, but this whole thing looks really legit.
I know. And then we're moonlighting as a game show.
Really getting our money's worth, you know. We just weren't making ends meet, so we thought we need a second wing.
We're hedging our bets, man. And then it's a babe station after 2 a.m.
So this is your place.
Yeah, Byron runs that solo.
Rob, this is yours. This is your place, though, right?
Yeah. This is my this is my
Rob's
place.
gaff.
Yeah.
Dude,
we're cheap AF. We just want to do the studio in his living room because it just saves a ton of cash. So.
Yeah.
It just lands on Rob's electricity bill. So that's great, man.
Yeah, awesome. It's great to have you in the UK.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'll be honest, Tom, you are quite a comedic genius, man. I've seen the almost 7 episodes, man, and I cannot stop laughing.
Oh, thanks, man. You're brilliant this season, dude.
Man. Yeah.
Oh,
you
thank
smash
you,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think everyone, right? But like I was even telling, when I was watching it, I was like, man, you just have such comedic timing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, brother.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pain,
reasonable breaks
and good.
Yeah,
because it's real pain.
It's genuine pain.
It's why it's funny.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's beautifully. And like we were just saying on our lunch break, Dave, that if hopefully, knock wood, if we get to do more, that me and Tom played proper tennis in the first season in one scene, but we didn't get to kind of develop too much beyond that. Me and you had more, and I just I want more of that. I want more of that tennis.
Yeah,
I want solo tennis.
What was it? It was the rave scene, right, Tom?
Yeah, and the pre-rave scene as well.
The pre-rave,
when
the academy. Yeah, he's drank the whole cabinet.
He drank a lot, and break. I mean, the thing is, what's so brilliant about that scene as well is that of all the people that come in, the person that he leans upon is the addict, the ex-addict, and it's just that role reversal there. It's kind of brilliant.
Coffee delivery.
Oh, you angel!
Yeah.
Thank you, Alicia from Galicia.
Oh, brilliant!
And we were talking about acting, and we were curious about. Because we know how preparatory you are, and I think you can be almost monastic in your preparations in the sense that you have to go through.
Yeah, you go
feel
deep.
Like you have to go through.
Are you one of those method actors? You stay in character the whole time.
No,
you carry knives with you
I'm
the
not.
entire time you're in Toronto.
Yeah,
he's going around stabbing everyone.
Bellwoods Park.
It's like it's another stabbing. It's David. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, that's just what it is. Someone who Ritu, who plays Lila, told me that she was like, I found it really odd that the first day I met you, while we were walking through the sets, you were just air punching the whole time. You were just doing this, and I don't remember that. That's how
I don't remember that.
That's how weird that moment was.
Because you had just come back, hadn't you? You'd just come back from Delicious
from
Sexy.
Thailand.
Yeah. So you went. We should tell the audience about this.
Not only from Thailand, but from fucking.
Yeah, from the jungle.
Yeah, so David went in deep into his martial arts training in Thailand before second season, and he came back like an absolute machine.
Oh, so went down there, did some Muay Thai.
Yeah,
did
the whole
in a boot camp in the forest, deep in the forest.
Yeah. I got to meet this kid named Terrible Dan. He's 16 years old.
Oh, I bet he was a real sweetheart.
Oh, he was. I might have exchanged 3 words from him. I think it was so funny because, I think in the first 2 weeks, I had lightly sparred because I was still trying to understand what it was, because obviously when you're sparring, you're not allowed to elbow or knees. It's that's only in fight combat. And so there's this one kid who fights in Bangkok. I mean, this kid is, the prime for Muay Thai fighters, we're talking like 15 to like 19. That's the gap. Yeah, and so I go
after that.
Yeah.
The what?
They wind up getting killed after 19. It's so many fatalities.
I mean, you either do that or you go fight in China. So like, because China has a big martial arts, competition stuff. But
was Terrible Dan? Was he a Muay Thai teenager?
He was amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, my buddy Warren Brown. You know Warren Brown?
Yeah, Warren Brown
awesome.
is lovely actor.
A lad from
brilliant actor.
Up north. Yeah. He was the world champion at like 18, 19.
No, the fuck way.
Yeah, Muay Thai champion. Yeah.
I'd
really?
still take him.
So like, but then he went on and had a whole acting career after that.
He's so good at acting.
He's a great actor.
He's in that show Luther. He's brilliant in Luther. He's Luther's partner in the show.
Oh wait, that's Idris Elba's thing, right?
Yeah, he's Idris's partner in the show.
So he won at what age? Like 19? Like he won?
He was around that. Yeah, he was young.
He's kind of he's barrel chested, isn't he? Yeah. He's built like a rugby player.
I remember seeing his legs. Like he had his boxer shorts on when I went past his trailer and I was chatting to him. We were about to go out for dinner after we were shooting, and he had his boxer shorts on, and I saw his legs. They were like just. I was like, my God,
so
man!
Turned on.
I was like, these two legs were like just two solid tree trunks, man. You could see all like the little kind of like micro scarring on his shins and stuff, all the kicks. And I was like, oh man, they've been conditioned.
Oh man, I remember they would make us hit per leg 100 times after our workout.
Whoa!
Wait, what were you hitting?
On the heavy bag.
What were you, on the heavy bag?
Yeah, the heavy bag. So they fill it up with sand.
Right. So it's like a fucking wall.
That's like, that's solid.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first day I probably did 8 hits tops. By the end, I was getting north of 50, straight.
And they making you go full whack on that thing, like they like.
Oh, 100%. Like you have a guy like right behind you yelling at you with a stick. Like if you're not hitting it, he taps you at the back of your hamstrings. Just taps you.
It sounds like we should get that in the show for Klaus.
Yeah.
As a way he had a good time once in Thailand.
Yeah.
Again.
Hey, do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was quite. I got to spar with Terrible Dan the third week. I went in there, man. I went in there. I probably lasted about 45 seconds.
And is this like full face shots and?
Oh yeah, face shots. Yeah. And I had a mouthpiece. And it wasn't, when you have to, you put it in warm water and you bite it and it molds to your teeth.
Yeah.
Yours
I couldn't get warm water. I couldn't get warm water there. So, 45 seconds, and then he did a 1-2 uppercut, and then the uppercut kind of like just dazed me a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? I got to be in Toronto in 8 days.
Yeah, I've got to start rehearsing with my brain in 8 days.
I'm gonna need that.
Wow.
Oh man, it was quite an experience. I mean, I want to go back, and if any of you gentlemen would want to come with me.
Oh, we should. I mean, there's a field trip right there. There's an Earthlocker field trip.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be a week for all I care.
Yeah, Muay Thai is my favorite. That's my favorite.
I would love
that.
I
would
would
love to train it. Love to train
it. Love it.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Well, you do it, right,
Tom?
Tom?
How long were you there?
Yeah. Well, I was doing Muay Thai for a while before coming over to shoot season 1. Like I'd done various martial arts for a while. So I freaking love it, man. It's great. But I always look at, when I saw you posting your Instagram videos, I was like, oh man, I'm so jealous. But then hearing your stories, I'm like, maybe I'm not so jealous.
Wait, could you not boil a pot?
What is it? What? A what?
To protect your jaw with your mouthpiece.
No hot water.
In the jaw.
He's not stopped thinking about the fact you couldn't mold your gum shield.
I didn't have. So what happened was this. So this, Robert, this is what happened. So I'm in there, right? And for the whole time, I'm not sparring, so I'm not wearing a mouthpiece.
Right. Oh,
and so I'm not wearing. So the moment I get to spar Terrible Dan, I'm thinking, cool. Like I'm not gonna go this phase, and I'll be chill. But then I get a little competitive, so I throw a 1-1, and then a 1-2, and then I ended up just touching his nose a little bit. And then he goes and he whacks me right in the face. So then I go and I tell this guy, give me a mouthpiece. I need a mouthpiece right now. So I get a mouthpiece, a brand new one.
This is like
and I didn't have time. Yeah, I didn't have time because I was just like, in my mind, I was
flopping out your teeth.
Right. You were there. Yeah. Let's get started.
Mate, that's a redundant mouthpiece.
Yeah. So then I grab a mouthpiece.
You didn't have time to boil it.
Yeah, wow. it was like sticking up here in my.
Yeah, you were trying to like bite down on it, right, to keep it in.
Yeah, that would make things worse.
Wait, here's a question. So, is this your first actual fight? Like, did you ever get scrappy when you were a kid, or?
No, it was my first. I mean, no, it was my first fight.
You guys actual fights?
Oh yeah, I've had a few scraps.
Oh yeah,
I've had a few scraps.
Unfortunately.
That was sports. It was always my temper got up when I was younger playing sports, soccer and Gaelic football. I played.
But how far did it go? Like, was it something that because you were losing or because you were trash talking?
Some cunt be clipping your heels.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean. Some cunt be kicking at you, and then you turn around, sock him one in the face. Because we were 14, 15 years old, and then there was a couple of times it happened in school, and then sure, all the lads crowd around and just let you at it.
Yeah, it just becomes a
They're
thing.
Like, go on!
Yeah, like some kind of cage fight there, because
I think Tom was the only person that I'd be like, Tom, I'm gonna walk through an alley. Would you like to come with me?
Yeah, at school, just like do all of Tom's homework. So
although at school, I tell you what, at school you wouldn't have said that. At school, I was like a skinny rake, man. I was not. Yeah.
Really? Were you still as taller?
Yeah, I mean, I got like a fair bit of stick as a kid in ways because I went up like a beanpole and didn't put any kind of muscle on until like my 20s. So I was just a skinny rake.
Do you think that was part of maybe the kind of course of muscle training?
Well, a big part of my journey was like I wanted to. It was two things. I was always like into kind of fitness, but never really knew how to do it.
Yeah. And
then when I was at drama school, I remember thinking I got to stand out some way. Like I remember a lot of people saying to me like, "Oh, you got to find ways to stand out in the industry." And I thought, well, what am I? What am I sort of fitting into right now? And I remember like I used to watch all this stuff about Arnold Schwarzenegger and how he kind of branded himself as the muscle man. And he just got into that niche first just to get going.
It's clear vision.
So having a clear vision. So I sort of did that. I thought, you know what? I'm going to put on muscle. There's not many British guys who've got like muscle, so I'm going to start putting on some muscle.
And then you sort of thought about it. You're like, nah.
and then before I knew it, I just forgotten about it.
There's no one I know more vascular than Tom. Do you know what I mean? You see pictures of men on magazines, you go, nah, that's been photoshopped, mate. The shadow on that fucking vein.
Yeah. Tom is a scientist, I think, when it comes to food and what to put in your body, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And sort of, you could just see it on him.
The thing is, what's amazing, that's what I love about food and the kind of the hacking element of food and lifestyle. When you practice what you preach, so to speak, when you get results, you're like, oh my God, it works.
Yeah.
When you find something out and you think, oh, I'll try that. Works, and that's all it is really, is I think I look at something and go, that's interesting, I'll try that. And if it doesn't work, I don't do it. If it works and I get results, I go, well, I'll keep that. I'll use that.
Isn't it interesting the way it just needed semantically someone to kind of take the concept or the semantics of hacking and food and sort of bring that sort of hacking attitude towards food and towards optimization lifestyle. It just takes semantics sometimes. Let's try it. Wardrobe, dishwasher soap. Nah, that wasn't very good.
Yeah. I used to
keep trying.
My calculus teacher in college used to say, my theory of life is you experiment, you analyze, and then you have a theory of it, right? And he said, so that's why you have to try every drug there is in the world. This was my calculus teacher.
Like this teacher.
And I feel like it's kind of in the same way of what Tom is talking about, where it's like you got to experiment with everything you put in your body to eventually.
Well, it's just being like really open-minded with it and not because all these things with diets and everything. People tend to get so rigid with I eat this way in terms of like it's paleo or it's vegan or it's that, when actually to optimize your body you can't think like that. It's never going to work, because ultimately you're going to run into walls along the way that you're not going to want to break through because of your confirmation bias to the diet. Whereas you're always open-minded to like change and shifting.
Like the body's so subtle, isn't it? You
massively
lose
so.
Something over there, and you might gain something over there, but it doesn't ultimately optimize.
Totally, it's little tweaks.
Do you have a like some people they like to go on diets, right? So there's like a window frame of doing things. Is that something that you kind of erased and you're like, no, this is going to be something that gradually I go into, and then kind of don't see an ending to that?
So it was kind of like so I used to do all the fad diets. I used to do, like, I did the paleo thing, I did the Atkins thing, I did keto, I've done all of them, right? The only one I haven't fully embraced is vegan. But I went on all these diets and kind of, it was always, like you say, it was like there was always an end point. And then I'd get to the end of it, because it was always be for like a photo shoot or something, or like I'd have a shirtless scene in black sails or whatever. And then once I'd done it, it was like always like, at the end,
dedication.
At the end of it, I was like, I can eat whatever I like now. So I'd eat a ton of sugar or whatever, and I'd binge, and then I'd lose all the results I have. I'd feel like crap. And I was like, there's got to be a way to sustain this. There's got to be a way to feel good all the time. It shouldn't be hard
being
work.
Being a human shouldn't be that
Shouldn't be hard.
Alan Watts goes, I mean, we're all just sort of the universe experiencing itself as human, and, the potential for perpetual bliss. Why not? Because why else?
Oh, man.
Why else are we here? It's like, we're not here to experience perpetual misery. We stagger into our graves.
I love Alan Watts, man.
Oh, he's great.
Brilliant.
Love Alan Watts. I was listening to this thing called the Wu Wei. Have you seen that?
What's that?
The Wu Wei? The art of not forcing. That's what the Wu Wei stands for.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Just accept the whole
let it go.
fucking ball of wax.
So are you, after you're going to do your Muay Thai boot camp, now you've done the same thing and you're fully optimized your diet and you work at it? What's your routine? Or did you just
for a little bit, yeah. I mean, I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I remember going into like the city in Thailand, in Samarayot, and also in Phuket, which I was there for 8 days. Didn't drink at all. I was, I'd get some people trying to, come on, man, drink a little bit, and I was like, no. But I was really strict up until I got to Toronto. Then after that, it kind of just went shit.
You got very liberal.
On the first day, you met up with me, wasn't it?
I was, and we went to the Raptors game.
It was either me or Rob that you met up with, and that determined your journey for the following
for the rest
season.
of your life.
So, David, you said your calculus teacher taught you something very vital, and that's why you do all the drugs. With no particular timeline in mind when you say this, what was the last drug you did?
I would say weed. Weed was the last one I actually. No, I take it back.
Crack cocaine. Come on, just say it. Crack.
No. I took a melatonin last night. That was the last.
Well, that kind of counts.
That's a hormone.
That's my mom's drug. Come on.
You're on the lag.
Yeah. I know. I you know what's funny, man? I haven't smoked weed in 2 months now.
Oh, wow.
Aside from last week. Yeah. I dabbled.
Don't put a timeline on it, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying. What's good here? I don't know what you're trying to bait me right now, Mr. Knight. What are you doing right now?
I do this all the time. I forget we're not in America and weed's not legal in the UK.
It kind of, sort of though, if you get caught with weed that amounts to about 4 or 5 spliffs, it's just a confiscation, and be on your way, lad, and they'll slap you on your cheeky little wrist.
Yeah, that's the thing about
if they tried to report or make a report
of
everybody,
it's worth.
Yeah, the system would crack in two, and ultimately, it doesn't do no harm, really, does it?
Is it? Yeah, I was going to say, is it more of a thing if like you looks like you're dealing it as opposed to?
Yeah, of course.
100%.
Well, there's a racial element to that. Let's just forget about
course.
that.
Let's
Four splits of weed and you're a young black person. Well, it's a very different.
Well,
yeah,
that's a good point.
Totally.
We should get someone on to talk about.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Drug, race, law.
My little
relationship.
My little 15-year-old nephew just got pulled over day before yesterday. Just walking down the street because he's had too many layers of coats on, and it's a warm day. And the police just, why do you have so many layers on?
Oh my God! Yeah,
dude, come on.
This is what Noel was talking. So we had our buddy Noel Clark on, David, and he was and he's a black actor over here, and he was talking about this is the day to day of walking around, like going out. He's like, I got to think about what I'm wearing. I got to think, am I gonna attract a cop to come over and pull me over? Yeah. Like we, as the privilege we have,
never ever have to.
You never think about it.
Yeah, I remember I was, back when I was in LA, they were talking about wearing masks, right? And my first thought was, I don't feel safe enough to wear a mask in public because immediately I feel like people are looking at me to do something that is not legal.
Imagine.
That was my...
So you're saying the cops, they'd see your masked face and...
they think, why are you covering your face, right? So, I mean, obviously, eventually it kind of wears down. But I think it is a big thing when you walk around and you just act a little bit different.
Yeah. You've resided in LA.
Did you grow up in
LA?
LA?
And your Mexican handsomeness, you felt that in LA, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, I think I remember one time I was at my parents' in La Puente, and I was outside with my cousins. I was just outside, and I remember a cop pulled up and put me in the back of the car,
right,
and was asking me, "Where do you live?" And I said, "Oh, I live right here in front." And he was like, "Do you have some ID?" And I was like, "I don't." He was like, "Why don't you have ID?" And I was like, "Because I live right here." Like, I'm talking no 4 feet away from the gate, and I was in the back of the car wearing handcuffs. And my friend,
how old were you?
Might have been like 19.
Wow. Wearing fucking handcuffs.
Yeah, I was in handcuffs in the back.
Such a souring experience.
It is quite an experience because it's almost like when your parents kind of correct you before you do something bad, where you're already walking in that tightrope every time you've
been hung for the crime, so you might as well do it, and that's sometimes later on, it's a thing that naturally, I think, occurs.
That thing that Noel said when we were talking to him, which I thought was funny and prophetic and sad, he's like, look at Black Lives Matter and the uprisings going on with there. Just wait to happen when it's Brown Lives Matters. When the Latino community comes together. So, I say that because of my stepfather's Mexican. So
really?
So I was raised in a Mexican household, so I do consider myself a Chicano, even though my mom's Japanese, my dad's Jewish. I'm a mutt.
He's the muttiest cocktail mutt I've ever met in my mutt life.
But I got a lot of that growing up.
But I did notice that you do have you have an American accent, or is it?
Yeah, born and raised in LA.
Really? What part?
Pasadena and Hollywood.
No shit.
Santa Monica.
So you've been to like Ixtapa and Kaikaku and all these spots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Look at you. He's like looking all guilty. He's like bottle service over here. Yeah, I used to be in Pasadena all the time, man. Yeah, I mean, Pasadena is a really nice area, though. I mean, it's nice.
East LA to East London. East LA to East London.
How did you guys even meet? All three of you. I'm curious.
All three. Well, me and Tom met making this show called The Umbrella Academy.
I thought it was Merlin for some reason.
Rob played the dragon on Merlin. It was great.
I played the sort of dandy wizard.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? On they put out on Instagram recently a bunch of this face app thing of all of us looking like females. Or like males, right?
Us umbrella boyos?
Yeah. Who's the prettiest
You're a
one?
hot girl. You're a really hot girl, yeah. I look identical to my little cousin. My cousin.
She's
like
really.
You met Phoebe.
Who was very cute.
Yeah, she's a good-looking chick.
Very good-looking young lady.
Oh, you had a family. You had your aunt and your cousin visit.
Yeah, they came to visit the set. But I look exactly like Phoebe. It's bizarre.
There you go.
Particularly one of me as season 1 Luther.
Yeah.
You got them kind of blue-eyed cherub genes, the pair of you.
Yeah, we both got them. Yeah. We got the same genes.
I just look like my sister. That's the weirdest shit.
Have you seen him, baby? Have you seen you as a girl? You're a good-looking girl as well.
I think I look like my sister.
I think Tom is propositioning us.
Yeah.
He's like,
listen.
Dude,
just to let you both know, I'm up for it. I definitely would.
I have a newspaper article with me in drag from the San Francisco Weekly.
Oh wow!
And I look like a Filipino hooker. It's uncanny.
That work can have a certain charm.
Yeah, very.
But I mean, are we talking with heels or without heels? That's my question.
Of course, come on.
Oh,
I'm gonna go half-ass.
I did a film.
That's what I'm talking about.
I did this film in Berlin where I had to learn how to walk in 6-inch heels. And I was like, this would be fine, And I was in the corridor of the production office, and I had the phone set up on the photocopier, and I was filming myself walking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and I looked like a fucking builder. Do Do you know what I mean? Just
It's
the
a
most
real skill.
square-arsed, ungracious.
Yeah, and
real
uncomfortable,
skill.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know how girls do it for like.
Yeah, I don't know
like
either.
days and days and evenings. I guess it's like it's conditioning, isn't it?
Yeah, years of practice, I suppose, and just having to kind of, and like it's the gate, you know, you kind of, you know, you can't close the gate. It's hard to. And then when we actually did the shot, there's a bit where Alex Skarsgård, that's lovely Swedish fella, he's at this door and he can't get through this kind of technological door, and he looks down the hallway, and there's this beautiful like Jessica Rabbit lady. All in silhouette at the end of the hallway with fake tits and fake hips and fake ass. And then so commences my long corridor mincing walk.
Oh.
And he's like, who's the fuck? And then it reveals and it's that lad in a wig from earlier, you know. And, sorry, spoiler alert.
I felt like I don't need to watch it now.
But it was, we did like 26 takes.
Oh,
and at the end I said to Duncan, the director, I go, you know, if you want to get a stunt walk in, I will not be offended. If you want to comp in someone walking that walk, I'll gladly take the credit for that. But he actually didn't. He left in
He kept it.
all my walk. And there's bits of it that are...
Maybe he quite liked the fact that it was a little bit, the
Yeah.
imperfections in it a little bit.
I'm curious, what was, after the 15th take, what was the note he came up to you, you know, after that long walk?
It was me. It was me. I was just going, no, please, we have to do more. We have to do more.
Oh, man. I imagine you put your feet on ice after that.
Oh, man. And it's your calves as well, right? Does it not, like, must, like,
I mean,
wreck your calves? You're walking around like Mr. Tumnus all day, you know?
It puts you in an unstable world, you know?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, psychologically. But it does. It puts you in a strange, unstable, tottering around. You know, it deauthorizes you or something a little bit. And that's right.
Yeah.
I'm flying the flag of feminism here.
I saw that movie. It was Mute, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah. Big fan of that director, man.
Yeah,
Big
he's
fan.
brilliant, Duncan. Yeah,
He's good.
He's brilliant. He's a lovely fella. But anyway, back to your preparations. So, is there dare I say, a tidy slice of self-punishment that has to go in?
Monastic. It's funny. I had to look up that thing when you said it the other day. I was like, oh, self-punishment. That's
Self-flagellations.
Yeah,
the
I don't
Irish are
know.
great at that.
I feel like that the tidiness of self-punishment never really feels like self-punishment until you're like right in the middle of it, where you feel like this is a really bad idea, you know, and then you come out of it thinking that was the best thing I've ever. I just think about it for like being in Thailand, for example. It was like the first week was like, this is amazing. I'm in the jungle. It's sweat. You know, I'm wrestling dudes. It's amazing. 2 weeks in, I was like, I hate myself.
Starts like, he's drained.
Why am I? I hate every person at this camp at this moment, because your mind starts playing tricks on you after a while.
Yeah.
Especially when no one speaks English, right? Everyone's speaking.
Oh wow! So how are you like communicating? Literally through like
hands,
kick this.
Hands, and then you find out like the simple stuff like thank you and hello and whatever. But mostly it's just more like hit.
Swadi krap.
Yeah, so kap kun kap, you know what I mean? Like, so
I know that from the Thai massage places in Toronto. They're really good.
Massage places in Toronto.
Yeah, these
Laura,
are legit ones.
Don't listen to this.
That's a legit one.
Yeah, mute this like this little.
Look,
rubbing a tongue.
Here's the thing, right? I go to these places for the genuine reason that people should go, and they look at me like
me too, mate.
We all do. Hey? I go in there and I'm like, I want you to so I'll go in and give them instructions about right, work on my hamstring.
Sometimes
my quads.
those parlors they can't massage. They're there.
But I found one in Toronto that was amazing.
Oh, right,
yeah, they were like, but there was a couple of times. David knows about this. A couple of times where like.
Hey, don't throw me in this.
I'm bringing you down with me, baby.
This is becoming a story online.
There's a couple of times where they come in and I was like, hang on, this is different. And I had to be like, no. I want a genuine, like,
massage.
Get into my hamstrings.
Yes.
You're brushing off my canal, madam.
I beg your pardon.
I remember Tom is like, yeah, just go get and eat, great massage, man. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm always in for it. My body's always beat up. And this lady, I swear to God, was like, every time was kind of like pressing the red button. Every time she was kind of looking at me, and it's like,
your eyebrows like,
It's just red mean, and I was like, this ain't brown.
Yeah, and then after a while, I was like, oh, it's okay, please stop.
I'm not sore that high up my thigh. Please just stop.
Yeah. And I'm leaving this place, and I'm looking over at Tom, and I was like, Tom, what kind of? And he's like, oh, it's great massage, right? And I was like, yeah, great massage. Yeah.
Did you just give me Harvey Weinstein in there, the masseuse? What the fuck is going on?
I swear to God, I was like,
oh, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it must have been the time after we went that I had the same experience. Because I'd been going so consistently, and I was like, yeah, these guys are great. Like, they're really professional. It's like, boom, boom, boom. I always get the massage I need in there. And then there was like this new girl that I hadn't had before. And then everything changed. I was like, whoa. What's going on?
I was like, I had to, I had to leave.
But no, because it was so different.
That's like going into a laundrette and they start throwing your clothes in the tumble dryer and you go, whoa.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Hey, your job, you're doing your job a little too much. Like
I was like, you're going beyond the Call of Duty.
Yeah, peel it back, please.
Bring it back.
I just knew something was wrong when they said, can you pull your pants on? I was like,
Actually, that's the thing. I think I have a problem with that trigger because I always go into massages naked when I can because I want to get right in my glutes, right? So I get them all off. But I'm like, right, get in here and in here. And I'm like, so I'm giving like, yeah, God bless. So I'm giving like really clear instructions. So I think, so she's ignoring all my instructions of like, get over my hamstrings, get into my quads. She's going, he's taking his pants off, okay, And I completely ignored the fact that...
So she went straight direct
Well, it's the same thing as David, like she started to like do things, I was like, that's different.
Yeah.
That's not happened before.
Yeah. Well,
you kind of have to be like, no, it's cool.
Yeah, well, I have to tell masseuses, like, usually...
2 children.
Yeah.
The what?
I was just saying, that's not happened before for coming from a man with two offspring.
Yeah.
I think once I got to when I realized that I usually have to tell them, I need you to get right inside where like in my inner thighs, but like right up the top, right?
I better be getting a tip for this.
Yeah. And I have to make it a thing. I'm like, yo, I need you to like either open up the leg and go in with the elbows. And the lady, I didn't have to ask. And I was like, all right, cool. She's good.
Oh,
she's all right.
Yeah, well,
I'll taking the initiative.
I will avail of this in a platonic fashion when we go back to Toronto because there's nothing I like. I went to Indonesia on holidays between when we went in 2018, and with Mr. Castañeda, in fact.
Yeah, we went.
We went because we did a lovely bit of press in Singapore, didn't we? We were flown over for the APAC, meaning Asian Pacific. Netflix are quite new there. They're there for like 131 countries or something around Asian Pacific, like that whole realm. So we were talking to journalists from all sides. But then we were like, right, you know what, lads, just fly us back a week later and, from Bali next door. Yeah. What's the difference? And,
what an amazing experience being there, man. Incredible. Yeah, I mean, why didn't you go, Tom?
Oh, I was shooting. I was desperate to go to Singapore, and I was doing this movie with Noel Clarke, actually. That was me with Noel Clarke.
Yeah. The red.
I was Red Notice.
Red Notice.
Yeah.
When is that at?
It will be out later this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they obviously withholding it off because of this whole thing.
Check the Red Notice board.
Red Notice.
It's going to be up there.
But yeah, I remember being like, when they announced that we were going to Singapore, I was like, that's the one place I want to go. I've got to go to Singapore. I really want to go.
Singapore is an interesting place.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit of a Dubai type feel, right?
There's a lot of money there. Sort of money, and it's gleamingly perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. Thriving food scene. Does feel a bit on the robotic side,
it's I'd say. Like Dubai, I guess, then, yeah. It's like a sort of a very, very humid Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say far more diverse, obviously. You get so many, there's a lot of Westerners, there's a lot of North Americans, you know, because it's a big banking center and it's a big foodie center.
Tons of English. I mean, English speakers galore there.
Yeah, lots of expats. Yeah, that's the same as Dubai, man. Like these kind of places, these like little hubs.
That's an interesting word as well, isn't it? That word expats, because it's kind of the word immigrants, but for white,
but for white people,
you know.
basically immigrants.
It's
really, expat? I've never heard of that.
Expat. Yeah.
Expat.
Expatriate. Expat. To be expatriated from a country means you just move. You move citizenship.
But they only do it with like Westerners going to third world nations. And if third world nation people come to the first world, then they're called immigrants. Not expatriates.
There's literally a linguistic racism.
That's very true. Very, very true.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's like
basically immigrants.
I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna start using that. I had no idea.
Yeah,
I suppose there's so much language is defined by fiscal, by monetary, by what you have as opposed to what someone doesn't have. And an expat suggests you come and you open a bank account.
Yeah, you add value. It's the thing about adding value.
And it's the money thing, and it therefore it requires a luxury word.
Yeah,
you know.
I saw this thing a buddy just sent me not too long ago. It said the people that this might be kind of in the same thing where like the people that it's not that the people that win the war write the books. It's the people that write the books win the war. And it was a really interesting take where when he flipped that on me, and I was like, you know, talking about the monetary way of how we divide expat compared to like an immigrant, for example, where that comes from the people with money saying, you know, I am this and you are that. You know.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of
That's
interesting.
Lovely. Who said that, Dave? Who was that? What was
my buddy sent me my buddy Matthew Law. Oh. He's a really actually he just texted me right now.
That's like a quote. That should be up there in the annals, man.
Yeah,
that's
That's
like pen is mightier than the sword. That's
like
classic.
that's like an Ali quote. I was thinking about that yesterday. Ali had this beautiful quote. It says, "Don't think about why the deer crosses the road. Think about why the road is crossing the forest."
Yeah. And you know, Oscar Wilde, Muhammad Ali, you know, all these people who were able to deal in opposites, you know, it's the comedy of opposites, are all incredibly funny because it's, you know, humor is investigating something's opposite, you know, as therapy. You know, it's really, really lovely thing. And Muhammad Ali that just sort of oozed out of him. He was so verbal, and he's actually someone I think who would be comparable to if I was alive when Oscar Wilde was alive. Do you know what I mean? Like someone who's that quick and that witty and that sharp and that able to be that sort of linguistically
just flip the script,
acrobatic. Right? Flexible.
I know. I've actually been reading books about Oscar Wilde. My sister gave me like this whole collection of like Oscar Wilde books. So I'm just diving into all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
I know. But I don't know if you guys.
I like his. Yeah. Well, I just over the years sort of because of the Ireland connection and like I did a series of. He did a bunch of these very Christian, very family value short stories for his kids mainly, called The Happy Prince, The Selfish Giant, The Nightingale and the Rose, The Remarkable Rocket. These beautiful, sorrowful stories. And I did this lovely radio series on Irish Lyric FM where I read out one of them, and then we got other actors, lovely Irish actors, to come in and read out all the others. And then I kind of set up the scene and gave the context and the history and all that stuff. It was a really nice radio thing, and it just kind of brought me into knowing about his life. That's how I got to know about his life, which was like, you know, now it's a crude, it's very, very crude comparison to go from like the Jeffrey Epstein on an island, like different to Jeffrey Epstein because he was. He would walk out at the end of his plays in the West End, be the biggest writer in London, and then just start bantering to the audience, right? He was the most beloved writer in London. And because he was gay on the side in secret, who everybody knew he was, essentially he kind of got himself into a legal quagmire with a guy called the Marquis of Queensberry, who sort of openly, meaning litigiously, accused him of being gay. He left a note with a coat porter, right, with the words, to Mr. Wilde, some letter, to Mr. Wilde, gentleman sodomite. And the fact that he'd left it with a coat porter who'd worked in a public restaurant meant that it was an open accusation and it carried with it a legal weight. And then suddenly he was in court and he decided to sue back for defamation, right? Because he was in a relationship with the Marquess's son, who was this quite poisonous character called Alfred Douglas, Bosie Douglas. And Bosie was goading Oscar into fucking, because he hated his father so much. So he was kind of using Oscar. He bewitched Oscar completely into taking his father down and thereby getting his father's fucking money, right? And so Oscar continually perjured himself in court and went from being incredibly wealthy, incredibly well off, had everything, the height of decadence in London, the 1890s, the first instance of decadence, to becoming shamed, pariah, 2 years of hard penal labour in Reading jail, and like everything taken off him, you know, for being gay on the site.
Oh no!
And
it was illegal in
it was
the
illegal.
UK.
Yeah.
It was illegal, right?
Yeah.
It was illegal.
Wow.
And it's just some story. And you probably have De Profundis, which is a letter that he wrote from prison to Bosie Douglas, trying to show him like how you have ended me up here. Don't you understand that? Do you understand that this isn't a play? You know, this is real life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just so beautifully written. And he goes off on one. And actually, someone growing up in Ireland, listen to Jesus this, Hoy Hail Mary, full of grace, that. Never really had any full emotional connection to the kind of spiritual language of Ireland, being Catholicism growing up. 10 pages of Oscar Wilde writing about Jesus would make you go, holy fuck! Jesus Christ was an amazing dude, amazing man, because, you know, Oscar Wilde took the time to research beyond the Bible to see what Jesus was actually saying, you know, and it's in the letter, in De Profundis. He just goes off on these lovely tangents, you know. He would have been an avid podcaster, Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
He really would have been. But you know, that's a nice thing.
When did he die? Or did he die in London, or did he leave after that?
Yeah, he died a few years after prison. It killed him, really. You know? It killed him. He died when he was 47. I think that was in early 20th century, maybe the 1900s or 10s. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I just discovered him in Christmas. It's crazy.
Oh, I love him dearly. Oh, sorry. I was going to... Tread softly, she is near, under the snow. Speak gently, she can hear the daisies grow. All her bright golden hair tarnished with rust. She that was young and fair, fallen to dust. Coffin board, heavy stone, lay on her breast. I vex my heart alone, she is at rest. Lily-like, white as snow, she never knew she was a woman, so sweetly she grew. I can't remember the last verse.
So close.
But thanks anyway.
Very good, yes, very good.
Like, I know this actor who makes me stop in the middle of the set and just recites Shakespeare. He just says it to me, and then I have to clap.
I do that same thing for my toddler.
Yeah.
Where's that from, Robert? That's beautiful.
That's Oscar Wilde.
Fascinating.
That's a poem by Oscar Wilde called Requiescat.
Wow.
Hey, what are your passion projects, David?
Me?
Yeah, man. You got like a charity. You got art. What's in your life that when you're not
I just paint.
ass?
Actually, I'll show you this
David
one.
This is a beautiful painting.
I've painted this. I've been painting this one.
Oh, show us it, Dave.
Shit.
Wow. Who's that?
It's just two dudes that look alike.
Yeah.
You know, look at him. She's just looking at you. He's having a good time. And look at this. He's like, "What's up, homie?" This one is called, "Hey, I think I'm gonna ask Jessica out," and then the other one says, "Keep her on her toes, dog."
I love it.
Yeah, so that's what I do, man. I mean, that's pretty much. I'm just trying to.
They must be piling up, are they? I mean, you've been very industrious since I last saw you in the flesh.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to whatever I can get for them. I'm just gonna donate the money.
Yeah.
To things that are or people, organizations that are in need.
If you have a website or an Instagram that people can buy paintings off of for charity, maybe we can stick it in the sleeve notes.
Yeah. This. I mean, when are you guys are releasing this? In a few weeks?
Maybe a week after the release of Umbrella, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
when it's on, because when Umbrella's on, it's fucking. It's like it becomes a different level to when the PR is happening.
Totally.
I think that's
it's the after it comes out that it really pops. I think. Well, that's what it was last year. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Is it going to be the full season release in one go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's how they.
Have you seen the show, Mr. Knight?
Yes, I have. I've read the comic books. I've seen the show, and I even had my son watch the first season. Which then I pointed out to Rob that he is now responsible for my son asking me, "Daddy, what's that man smoking?" And his first reference, he's 10. He's 10, 9, 10. So now his first understanding, like, he's smoking drugs.
Don't be like him.
Don't be like him, son.
And it's like, but I want a Dave also.
But aren't you friends with him, Daddy?
Yeah.
Yes, but
no, the Dave thing is fine. We're very open about that kind of stuff. The drug use, I try to keep him nice and innocent. He's a big fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. He watches.
It's funny. My dad.
It's a great show.
Oh, really?
It's so colorful, that show. The color of it is like
so incredibly glossy.
When it came with drugs and stuff, my dad gave me a really good thing that I took until probably I was like in my mid-20s was whenever you get offered drugs, you say, "I'm fine, man. I just got out of rehab 2 weeks ago. And I'm not trying to relapse."
Christ. Did that make sense to you when you were 5 years old?
No, but by the time I was 13,
10-year-old,
9. No, more
by the time I was 13, it made sense because by that point you're gonna start seeing shit.
Yeah.
Rehab.
Yeah, or shit like that because nobody wants to be the person that brings you back to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's a funny thing too because I had such a colorful childhood and I was doing drugs and drinking at 10 and like his age.
What drugs was you doing? What drugs was you doing?
Any pills I can find, definitely marijuana every day, drinking whenever
How
I
old
can
were
grab
you?
it. 10, 11, 12.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I had some really crappy parents. I loved them. They're great people, but not a lot of boundaries.
And at what point did you say I need to stop or
when I was 13, 14, I got kind of recruited to go into the Presbyterian Church and became a born-again Christian. That sort of made me reset, and then that kind of taught me what it meant to be family and to act like a kid. All these things I never had. Really,
Wow.
I could definitely say that the religion saved my life, and then
that's amazing.
Ruin it. No.
And did your parents? How did they react when you came home one day, all dressed like a little, quite a, well put together little Presbyterian?
No. I was always very adamant that I be my own person. I was always punk rock.
Right.
I never compromised on that because I always felt like that was who I was.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
Which it is.
It was never. Presbyterian Church is very,
right,
very hoity-toity. So it's not. It's not like a Baptist church, where they make a cookie cutter. Heaven forbid, Scientologist. So it's a little bit more relaxed.
It's funny with religions, isn't it? Because on the one hand, people want something to really stand for. People have that in them. On the other hand, people want religion to be inclusive, and both exist, Rob. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you've got so many different. I mean, ultimately, it seems to me is that it's always about like what happens after you die. So it's almost giving you that kind of like hope of what happens post this life, as opposed to what your existence within it. It's like always talking about the end. So much of religion.
I know, and Alan Watts goes, "You're born on probation," right? And then they say, "Keep stum," right? Until you're of age, And then you might become a person. Maybe. But you're basically on probation until, and you can be fired quite literally at any point, which is kind of that's a kind of a weird thing to be lumbered with, I think, original sin. The possibility of ending up in an eternal, not nice place, but I mean, I'd like to think, geniuses like Daniel Johnston were totally convinced of the fact that there was a hell and a devil, and he was very active in people's lives. But I'd like to think that people who sell that, it's more revealing of them than it is of the actual material that they're trying to sell.
I agree,
That can't exist. That's just not what the universe is.
Well, I mean, I think metaphorically it absolutely exists. And that's kind of what I learned later on. Just like, okay, this institution called Christianity is full of malarkey. Yeah. In the spirit, it's amazing. And when you take it as a metaphor, we're putting ourselves in hell every day with our choices. And,
it's the choices we make day to day, which creates a sort of a living in heaven or hell.
And the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth and man sees it not.
Yeah, Alan Watts was the one that said we're already living in heaven.
Yeah,
it's whether you choose to live in it or not.
I've had nice, where I've been if I'm more practiced in the meditation, I sit here and hear the birds outside in the trees, and I've come close to a feeling of a feeling of wellness that you just think, if I could prolong this.
I feel exactly.
Are you a meditator, mindfulness kind of guy?
Yeah, I've been doing that for quite some time now, maybe about 3 or 4 months now. I've been doing it almost, at best every day, and at worst once a week. At worst.
And then whenever. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's a great tool to have.
It accumulates.
Yeah. I remember I meditated with these two gentlemen one time when we were doing episode 10, and we were doing and we were outside when we were doing the bowling alley.
Oh, we did the Wim Hof breathing. Yes. On the
in the grass.
Yeah, of season 2, right?
No, bowling scene was that season 1?
Oh, right.
Bowling season 1 we did it on the grass.
Yeah, on the grass, a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was like out by it was at base camp.
Oh, right, it was at base camp we were doing.
Yeah, when we had that 8-page scene.
Yeah, it took forever, and they cut a bunch.
I remember that. But you know what turned out for the best, I think.
Which 8-page scene again?
In the bowling alley. It's when you
that was on location. That was about an hour from base camp, the bowling alley.
Oh, not base camp at studio. The base camp.
Oh, right. Yeah,
where we were.
Our actual base camp. So in TV making, you have a base camp which is like lorries and trailers, and it's very mobile. And if you're on location, it bases itself there, and then you go and shoot there. So we were at that base camp.
It becomes like a little trailer park. You're in a little trailer park.
Little circus.
So we were meditating there.
Yeah, it's quite nice, man. Meditating, I think it's really, really kind of helped me kind of be present.
Yeah, big time.
And not bring too much unnecessary bullshit to the moment. I think you kind of drag your worries around, and really all there is just the moment and what you bring into it. And you go, actually, this next moment, I'm just going to give it nothing.
Yeah.
That's done. That's quite nice.
And I always have the best revelations, the best ideas for things when I'm meditating. I kind of come up from it and think, oh, that's a good idea.
Comes from you.
Yeah, it comes from a deeper subconscious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
You strip every voice that you've heard. Is that kind of where the idea?
Well, if you're the Buddha himself.
Yeah.
But you make a practice of doing that, and they tend to. The more you keep it up, I suppose, the more you can switch them all off. But then you start to. It's interesting because then, like me, I have to be extra mindful of having the thought that now it's all off, because that's a thought too.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're having a thought about the blankness of the no thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you go, I'm having that thought now, and you have to keep. You have to keep being aware of where you are.
I think it's in the ever duality of being mindful is that it's not an end goal.
Yeah.
There's never a time you're like, yep, I got this.
You just got it. Yeah.
If you say that, you 100% don't got it.
Yeah, you don't.
You know?
Alan Watson said it's like we can't taste our own tongue, We can't hear our own ears. We sort of we're suspicious of that thing, but we can't quite. But we are it.
Yeah, you are. It is you.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, it's like I think even Oscar Wilde and Alan Watts speak about in kind of the same way of the moment you treat it as precious is the moment that it loses its preciousness, and the same way as meditating in all this sense. If you think about, I'm going to meditate to find an answer, I'm going to meditate to do this. Yeah. The moment it loses its actual meaning.
Yeah. Then you're sort of going in the opposite direction to what you should be doing.
Yeah, where thing becomes less virtuous.
As possible. And it's even like, sometimes I just kind of say to me, instead of going in mantra and all that, I just sort of go, be still. Be still. Be still.
Yeah.
Be still. And it fucking works, man. It works, and you start to just...
You know what? My first experience meditation, I completely fell into it by accident. And me and my friend were laid on the grass. And it was just when I was probably about 15. And I was like, isn't it great when you just be?
Yeah.
And you weren't stoned.
Just be. And you just, no. Just laid in the grass, just looking at
naturally do it.
Yeah, and you naturally sort of a humanistic element just kind of kicks in, and you just and you hear, you're aware of the things you're around, you're aware of noises, but just being and just letting it all go.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. But it starts to change your relationship with your insides, I think. Like one nice trick, and it's going to sound a bit fucking woo-woo, but it doesn't matter. The mantra is a thing you repeat thousands of times to switch off I have to do those emails, I gotta pay a bill. You just repeat something, and the thinking mind can't do both at the same time, so it performs a function. But then you start to, instead of saying the mantra, you start to just think it as a concept. And then you start to feel it, and then you can send that feeling down into the bottom of your existence, into your lowest chakra, I suppose. I'm not too familiar with chakras. But you start doing that, and then that starts to have this eruptive, pleasuresome, God-like feeling swirling into your body effect, where it feels like something is massaging you, not in the Tom way, but
not the massage parlor way, yes.
Not the way I like to shake.
In a kind of a God way. And you kind of become everything else. You become like a sort of an energy
spiritual
field.
rub and tug.
Yeah!
I like it.
God. Yeah, it's a spiritual rub and tug. You get to ejaculate, but inside your body. That's a good way of
that's an actual practice.
Ejaculate.
Yeah.
That's
an actual thing.
The mantra helps that.
That is a Karma Sutra thing, yeah. Hey, guys, this is it's been amazing. David, great to meet you.
Likewise. Great to meet you, Dave. Hey, come here.
Hey. Great to meet you, David.
When you come out of the isolations, come
for an in-studio.
Casa Rob as well.
Oh, I'd love to, man. I'd love to. For all three of you, and for two of you, and for one of you, I'd love to.
Well, Rob and I met at my bar in East London.
It's wicked.
Like 10, 12 years ago.
Off Broadway.
So I was his bartender. That's how we became friends.
No shit.
And then we started plotting all sorts of evil plans.
Yeah.
But this wasn't your business, the one you opened up.
In fact, yes. Same. About 8 years ago.
You had a restaurant called Bond, and also he's involved with the brewery, Deviant and Dandy. So,
do you know what made me laugh? Noel Clark, our pal who we had on the podcast, Noel and Ashley, who star in this quite kind of macho action show on Sky called Bulletproof. They proper go get like pedicures and manicures together and proper look after each other.
It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey man, when you don't know when the shot of the holding the gun's gonna come in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's a point actually.
Yeah.
There's loads of hand close-ups. Yeah, I've got scummy little stubby nails like that. Right. Here, let me go get my door's just buzzed.
Yeah.
Dave, I love you. I'll see you soon.
Anyway.
We gotta run anyway.
Too,
guys,
brother.
give me the locker thing. Get out of here. Let's do this.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Brandon, Tom. I'll see you later, buddy. I love you, my man.
Love you, buddy. This podcast represents the opinions of the hosts and guests of the show, not the parent or affiliate companies of the Earthlocker. All content on this podcast is solely owned and copyrights reserved by the Earthlocker. The content here should not be taken as medical, financial, psychological, spiritual, or even public transport advice. The show is for informational purposes only And because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. Talk to your financial advisor and take anything we say with a pinch of Himalayan pink salt. Talk to your financial advisor, especially if you wish to invest in this podcast. Speak with your elders about personal and spiritual matters because, let's face it, they know the shit because they've lived through it. The contents of this podcast might have settled during transport and batteries are not included.